Welcome to Entrepreneurial Entrails for some short stories on the guts and glories of being an entrepreneur.
Short people got no reason. Short people got no reason.
Hey, it's Elizabeth with Entrepreneurial Entrails, and today is Wise Word Wednesdays. And on Wise Word Wednesdays, I talk about business books. Why? Because I'm a crazy, wacky reader, and you can learn a lot. Hopefully, for the most part, if somebody's written a book, they know what they're talking about. Some of them are crap, some of them are not. The ones I talk about are, to me, not crap. You might find them crap. I hope you don't. So the one I'm going to talk about today, given the fact that part of my journey as an entrepreneur is being a writer, or my business is basically out of writing. So Elizabeth Berg, who I think is a terrific author and has written a wide variety of fiction, wrote a book a few years ago called Escaping into the Open, The Art of Writing True. And, 2009. And I always tend to write in my books, when I bought them and what have you. And one thing I really love about this book, this was the one that inspired me to name my business MCV Communications, because it talks about my creative voice. And in this particular case, she was obviously referring to being a writer and what that creative voice entails and how you develop your creative voice and what have you. And I took it a little farther. And to me, your creative voice is whatever you create. So I also do cake decorating, and I do baking, and I do photography, and I don't mind the odd foray into arts and crafts, although glitter is the bane of my existence, as my Girl Guides would tell you. But it's whatever it is. With this particular book, one of the main things that I like about it is it gives you a wide variety of exercises, writing prompts, so that it gives you somewhere to start. Sometimes when you're sitting down and you just want to get your creative juices going, it can be really challenging to find a point to begin with. And she takes you through a wide variety of things. I'm going to use that phrase a lot, I think. That help you to develop different parts of your voice. So writing from different perspectives, writing from different sexes, write out a list of words and then go back and, pick 5 to create a prompt of your own. Why you should set up a routine for writing, why you should sit down at the page no matter what, how to transition between fiction and nonfiction. And of course, within the transition of fiction to nonfiction or vice versa is the veracity of your writing. And she talks about, especially when you're transitioning into nonfiction, the importance of providing reputable sources and doing your research and just because you say so doesn't make it the truth. And that's one thing I really counsel my clients on when we're developing their communication strategy, and in particular their blog or social media calendar, is if you're looking within your industry for things that you want to talk about, there are some predetermined calendars that are out there. Health Canada provides a great one if you're a health professional and what have you. But the biggest thing, if you're going to start writing about your business, for your business, create the content, you must have the education and the experience to write from a true voice and make sure that what you are providing to people is verifiable. There's nothing worse. It drives me bananas when I find what I think could be a potentially, there's two different examples. One is I usually check the credentials of somebody if I'm buying their book. I will go online and research them. And for an example, there was a nutritional supplement that I was looking at potentially taking. And this guy was on and talking about the program that he's developed and whatever. And so I started to research him. I go on LinkedIn. Turns out all he has is a BA in finance and a really long career in sales and marketing and product development, but no health background. From what I can tell anyway, unless he hasn't updated his LinkedIn profile, this guy he got nothing that recommends him as somebody who should be touting out health products. And that's just me. I'm a bit of a hardliner that way. And yes, he's working with credible people, but I don't know. That just doesn't ring true for me. So this is the biggest thing that I counsel people on, is under no circumstances do you BS. Under no circumstances, if you are, I came across an article and this person wrote about, it was about gluten and gluten-free and what have you. And I'm reading this, and not only was it a really poorly written article, first off, but she had no credentials. None to be writing this, other than personal opinion. Add into the fact that if you have a modicum of education and knowledge about gluten-free and healthy eating and what have you, you can see through the article from a mile away. She was a receptionist in a clinic. Now, I've been a medical administrator, medical office administrator, so I say this with respect. Working in a medical office in no way qualifies me to write an article on nutrition and health and diet and what have you. Absolutely not. Can I advise people on how to get the best care and how to make sure that, they're following up with their family physician and all that kind of thing and scheduling? Absolutely, I can. Would I in any way pretend that being a medical secretary makes me a qualified medical professional to offer advice and write articles? Absolutely not. So when I read this and discovered that, Fancy Pants with the gluten-free opinion had no credentials, I was immediately dismissive. So anyway, sorry, get back on track here. This particular book I have absolutely loved. I haven't touched it in a little while, but had such a positive experience from it that if part of what you're trying to do for your entrepreneurship journey is write or write more or become a writer, this is one that I would suggest that you check it out online. Again, do your research. Check it out online. Check it out at the library, which is what I always do. I've got like 5 books upstairs that are business-based that I put them through the run-through through the library, and then I try and find them used, and then I'll put out the money if they're to buy them new. They really have to pass my my Rorschach test, if you will, to make sure that they're worth the expenditure. So with Elizabeth Berg's book, Escaping into the Open, she also goes into writing groups, how to get the most out of a writing group, how to participate. Should you take a writing class? I know somebody that was taking one and found great benefit from it. I haven't yet. I'm really interested in doing that, though. Different things to ignore, different things to take under your advisement. And like I say, this is a really successful writer. She has multiple successful books under her name, so she knows her stuff. If you're working through it as a way to build your skills, she also provides homework assignments, which for some people they might rebel against. For others, they require that kind of push that they need these assignments in order to progress and figure out how to become a writer. So that's my book for today. I'm actually now I'm kind of tempted to go back through it and see what I've been missing. Some of the prompts that she provides. Let me just go to, sorry, I'm doing a flickety-flick barber trick here. So the business of writing. Some of the prompts she provides, for an example, is writing about the importance of praise, writing a short story about a kid matchmaking 2 elderly people, writing about, thoughts on, they say here, somebody who died with the assistance of Jack Kevorkian, which, if you're not sure who Dr. Kevorkian is, he developed the self-assisted suicide. Flip side of that and bring it up a few years, and we now have the new MD assisted suicide law. So, create a profile of somebody who would potentially seek those services. Why are they doing that? What have they been through, and what's their driver to take that step? There's a huge amount, and if you just open yourself up to the opportunity, it says here, a tribute to the sweeties in my life. She says on candy. I could go on forever about that. Anyway, give it a shot. If you're not looking at being a writer, well, this book's not going to be for you potentially, but it's fun. And so I'd love to find out if you're trying to break into the writing business, and this is something that you've been told and had some feedback that was quite positive, and it's something that you're looking at exploring, or if you're a business owner and you want to contribute more personal content to your business story, which is always a fantastic positive thing to do, that's a resource for you. I'd love to hear if you've given it a shot And hey, I'd love to see what you've written too. We can figure a way out to do that. My contact information's on the SoundCloud, but would love to see it. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Hope you take the time to find your creative voice, and we'll talk to you tomorrow. Thanks very much. Bye-bye.
Little cars that go beep, beep, beep. They got